we'll talk about it, but let's just linger on this 3 days.
Right.
So we should also mention that's where Blitzkrieg really shined. So it wasn't just the tanks; it was the infantry, it was the aircraft moving very fast behind the French lines. I mean, what can you speak to just the execution of that campaign and the role of drugs in it? And it is, we should say, a really bold strategic decision to use meth. I mean, it's a big risk. There's a lot of risks taken here, which could be seen as military genius or military insanity, and or a mixture of both.
Well, they were very lucky that it all worked out. Like it, also the guys in the tanks could all have freaked out on the meth, because then it was never tested before. Can you actually be in a combat situation in a tank in enemy territory on meth? Can people actually cope with that and be better fighters?
Going through the mountains,
It's
like,
insane. Yeah.
against the biggest military in Europe.
Well, what meth does is, because I read reports of the depressed atmosphere right before the attack started, because they were afraid. They thought they would lose. Like, they didn't want that, soldiers, maybe some, really hardcore Nazi soldiers, but most people were just normal guys, they didn't want to start that. But once they had the methamphetamine, it kind of, you're like in a party mood. So also when you're in the tank, and everyone likes it, it's rather an uplifting thing. Like they were really getting into it, and they were really, they started fighting. Then is also intoxication. It's a rush.
Like, what does meth feel like?
Well, meth creates the so-called fight or flight modus. So either it releases all the neurotransmitters in the brain, which are released in situations of high danger, for example. So in a highly dangerous situation, you become very alert, so you can cope with the situation. If you're under life threat and you don't even react to it, you're probably going to be dead, But the body does that, and methamphetamine does that. So you take a pill of methamphetamine, or you snort a line of methamphetamine, and you're like this. And then it's the fight or flight mode. Either you run away, like it's too much, but on meth, you usually don't run away. You kind of think it's really cool what's happening. You like to move. You like to be with your pals. You like to, be in a tank is great.
So there is a party aspect to it.
I think it was very joyful for the German soldiers because it was springtime. They had immediate successes. And it wasn't heavy fighting. It was just being in the tank. I mean, there was, of course, fighting, and there were also war crimes. And I read a report when Rommel, high on meth, like at night, doesn't stop, of course, because they all, they don't stop at night. But every army usually stops at night. So the French army were stopping. They were in a village, camping out, and the German Rommel was going with the tank through that village with his division, just running over people. And he was standing like in the open lid of the tank, and he was like going through that thing, and like a berserk type of warrior. And that was that to me is a war crime. That is when the Wehrmacht lost its innocence, in that push of Rommel through the French countryside, because you don't do that. Your enemy is sleeping. Because the French also had a drug regulation. They received 3/4 of a liter of red wine per man per day. So of course at night they're going to be sleepy on red wine, and the Germans were like on meth, and they were just running over them. There's descriptions of the chains of the tank becoming bloody. I don't think he did it, and he was like, "Oh my God, what did I just do? I'm sorry. What am I doing here?" He was in the movie,